Welcome back to the channel, Sagitnet2. Today's episode is about this transmission. This is M2S4 from Honda Prelude, a non-VTEC version. I'm gonna open this up. I wanna show you, or we're gonna see what is wrong with this one. The issue I'm having on this one is fifth grind, that whenever from fourth to fifth, you can just hear that nasty sound, that grinding sound, and I never did like it. But it'll go in smoothly from neutral if I waited like 3 seconds before I shove it to fifth gear. No problem there. Yeah, it's very annoying whenever you're shifting very fast. Yeah, I really don't like it. So we get to open this one and we will find out what's wrong with the fifth gear. Maybe it's the hub or the synchro. A new beginners, that this is your first time opening a transmission on your Honda Prelude or Honda Accord, make sure that you do have a reference. I got this off from internet. I just downloaded it and yeah, just print a hard copy. It's better to have a reference. That way you will know exactly how to put everything together. But if you don't have one like this, then you can always take a picture. If your transmission has not been opened, yeah, you could use your reference as you go along, as you tear it down. But if you don't know the history of it, maybe someone opened it already. Now you'll be the second or the third one who's gonna open it. It's a good idea to have a hard copy, or you could check, reference it on the internet. Something like this. That way you know exactly how to put everything together. As you can see right there with the circle. The Honda Prelude transmission and Honda Accord are very similar. This one here, specifically, it tells you this is for M2F4. And the rest, they're pretty much like similar. But don't quote me on that. Like I said, make sure that you do have a reference, a service manual. First thing to do, of course, is make sure that you don't have any transmission oil in it. And when you do drain it yourself, make sure that when you put this back in, make sure to secure this, torque it per specs, because you might forget, you might put it on the engine, you add some oil, little you know, it's gonna start leaking and you're gonna end up an empty case without any oil. All right, let's do this. Tools you need is, you already probably have it already. Some ratchet, sockets, 10mm, 14, 12, 19 or 17 inch, and rubber mallet, screwdriver. I usually don't use any power tools. I try to break them first. It's because of this transmission is more than 20 years old. And not unless you want to prepare any threads. Cover is being held by 4 bolts, and I just needed to give it a tap, because it's being held by 2 dowel pins. If this is your first time, make sure to place your, like the bolts, wherever it came off, just put it like so, and then put it on the side, put it on your bin. Now the lock, I need to get that lock out of the way so I can insert my 12mm socket to break it loose. Just get something like a flathead screwdriver, just give it a tap. You don't have to get it flat as much as you can, just enough for your socket to go in. Keep the lock. If you can, buy a new one. Just remove it like so. Just back up a little bit. That way you can remove this, so you won't get confused when you put it together. Put it back like how it came off. Put back the lock. So when it's time for you to put it back in, you know how exactly it came off. Alright, so we're done here. You need to remove this plug because we have to spread the lock that holds the bearing. There's a ball bearing inside. Make sure you don't lose it. There's a spring in here, right there. This is the one that holds the forks. Get the ball bearing out, just give it a tap. It came off. Right there. If you have a magnet, that will be nice. But usually it comes up if you just give it a tap. This is next. This is the mounting bolt for your reverse idler gear. And always keep the seal washer. Why this thing is so tight, I don't know. This thing is a little bit on the tight side here. See if I can. Okay. Alright. I try not using the impact to remove the bolt because I don't like repairing a thread. And always mark where your brackets will be. In case you forget where it goes, you can always look it up on the internet. And there's one bolt that is longer than the other, which is right here. That's the only long bolts there is compared to the rest of them. But when you put it all together, you cannot miss it because this will stick out. So that's where it goes, the long one. Next is the reverse switch. Make sure to loosen that. Before spreading that lock, make sure that you have a piece of wood or something that you have on the transmission, like so. The reason for this I want to bring the whole thing up a little bit. It's because of the input shaft. The input shaft sticks out, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch. So it's not a good idea to have this thing face down without the flange sitting on something. So always have something in between your table and the flange of the transmission. So this one, you don't need any special tool. All you need is a needle nose or a screwdriver will do fine. You just need to spread it like so, like there. You heard it? So right there. So from time to time, you have to check the condition or the looks of that lock. So sometimes when you try to separate the case, that thing will go back in a lock position, and you're trying to remove the case and it would not separate because that lock, it locks on you. So always check that from time to time. Verify, make sure you have all the bolts removed. Flange bolts are removed. For the reverse, it's removed. This thing is loose. Spring retention for the forks are removed, and also the ball bearings. This is removed. And that's it. There's a few points where you could pry this thing. Right here, there, and right about in this section. Be careful when you pry this with a screwdriver. Try not to damage or try not to make any scoring on the flange. But what I do, a lot of guys are different, but all I do here is use my rubber mallet, pick this up a little bit and give it a right there. Let me position the camera. All right, all out. Sometimes that bearing will come off on you. That bearing right there. If it falls up on you, be careful when you put it back. I'll show you later on. Before we go any further, let me show you something that you have to look for. These tabs right here, see how it's aligned at 6 o'clock location. So when you put it back, let me remove it, and it should go in 6 o'clock like that. Otherwise it would not go in. If this is your first time, start taking pictures on how everything is laid out. 5th gear, that's reverse. There you go. Yeah, this thing is just really, it's really hard for the 5th gear. So I think it's the synchro. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, it doesn't go in smoothly. See how this thing right there, the 3rd and 4th goes in easy. 5th gear, it's horrible, man. Yeah, I think that's my problem. I will do my inspection upon removing it. This is your magnet. Just pull it out and verify there's no metal, and clean it off as you go. If you find some metal, then you know there's a missing gear somewhere in there, and put it back in after you clean it. Take this off. Remove your idler gear reverse. At this point, I'm ready to pull the whole assembly off. There will be a washer right in between here. Just pay attention where it goes. Wrap your rag or so and just give it a pull. And right there, there's the washer and the spacer. This one has to go in a special order. The concave is a spring washer. Make sure to place it where it goes. I usually just put it in the input shaft like how it came off. I got me an assistant today. Say hello to my cousin.
So,
He's the owner of the black Supra. Inspection of the fifth gear and the hub and the synchro. That's next. For your differential, there's really nothing you can do here, not unless you want to change the bearings or put a LSD on your transmission. If you have a rebuild kit, this is your time to replace the seal and all the bearings. Now let's do some more inspection on the fifth gear. This will be the good time to do some inspections on the forks. Make sure there's no abnormal wear within this area. Like you're looking for some burnt. Right here, look for some wear. Looks all right. Nothing biggie. Sometimes this will be bent. So if you are experiencing some kind of like it pop out or anything like that, yeah, start checking for a squareness on this. Make sure it's not bent or anything like that. Put this one on the side. Okay. So when you pull it out, make sure you let it out as you remove. Let's see. So, man, this thing is stuck. It should not be. Yeah, it should not stuck. It should not be stuck like that. Okay. Give it a tap. All right, I'm gonna stop right here because I only needed the fifth gear. Let's make some room here. I'm gonna start right here. This is the reverse. Looks all right. That's the bearing. Okay. This is the hub. This can only go in one direction. Okay, let's very smooth. Let me check the oh boy, right there. Fifth gear, yeah, the fifth gear is damaged. Yeah, looks like I need a fifth gear. This one, the sleeve, okay, this is what I need. I need the fifth gear from Honda Accord, synchro, and the sleeve, the hub sleeve, in order to get this thing to work again. Okay, that's it. Yeah, there's a damage now because it's been grinding it a lot. This is where I'm end this video, and I'll put this video whenever I get the parts for this, and then I'll show you guys how to put it back in together. Bye everyone, thanks for watching. Got the parts that I need. The sleeve, it's still in good condition, and also I'm getting the fifth gear also, a spare. I have a spare at home that I can use, but might as well get this one. And that is all I need. It's from a CV7. I believe the transmission is H2U4 or something, but they're pretty much like the same. H2A5. Alright, let's go home. Got what I need. And also I'm going to tell you a little bit of information that I got. Some of you probably already know. For some Prelude owners that has a M2Y4 or M2F4 that wanted a fifth gear, I'll let you know when I get back.